Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel for another midweek mystery video. Today I've got another Jane Doe case I think is really important to get people talking about right now. Police are still actively working on this case and have recently released enhanced photos of the girl they believe to be baby Jane Doe. All it's going to take is one person to recognise her, and this case could be easily solved, or at least her identity could be reunited. This story is one which hits particularly hard because it's the story of a child, a young girl. Her parents must either be very much missing her or very much involved in her death. I really don't think it's going to take much to get this case solved, which is why I think it's so important to talk about right now. It was January 28, 2012 when skeletal remains were found at a trailer park in Hurst Street in Opelika, Lee County, Alabama. A resident at Brookhaven Trailer Park came across a skull in his backyard and called the authorities. Within a week, more remains were found within 50 foot after grid searches. They found the lower jaw, some hair and multiple other bones in a wooded area. Her torso and hands were never recovered, as well as one or more limbs. On the 7th February 2012, just a week later, the Lee County coroner announced publicly that Jane or John Doe was a victim of homicide, but they didn't know much else at the time. At this point, they didn't know her sex, race or the cause of death. All they could say was that the age of the remains was determined to be less than 10 years old. They knew that the remains were of a child. Later that same year, 2012, it was revealed there was indeed a Jane Doe, a black female, likely 4 to 7 years old but underdeveloped for her age. It was estimated that the girl had been deceased between 8 months and 2 years before she was found, placing her date of death anywhere from 2011 to 2012. She had medium-length black hair in small, tight curls. An anthropological assessment of her bones suggested that she'd been incredibly malnourished in life and possibly abused. The child had suffered with extensive bone injuries and likely had damage in one eye. She may have often appeared with cuts and bruises and likely looked much younger than she really was. Sergeant Richard Covert, who'd been on the case since the very beginning, said, "The type of injuries explained to us would have been very debilitating. It's really horrible." Her teeth were underdeveloped and may have looked small and out of place on her face due to malnourishment. In the early days when they were searching, near the scene they found a long sleeve pink shirt with heart buttons and small ruffles near the neckline, but it's unknown if this t-shirt belonged to the girl or not. It was a trailer park and could have belonged to anyone there, although I'm assuming the police asked around and nobody ever claimed it. Right away in this investigation, the police got the FBI involved and started their search for any information about this girl. Surely somebody would be missing their child. All the local schools were contacted, neighbourhoods were canvassed, and they reached out to the Department of Child Services, but nobody knew of a girl of this description who had gone missing or even knew of a girl of that description at all. With no leads of what the girl looked like in life, agents at Quantico composed an image of what she may have looked like, which was widely distributed, but nobody came forward. Sergeant Converse said, "I think this child was not exposed to the general public, and that's possibly why she was able to go unnoticed. If she was a child who was abused, it's likely her parents or her caretakers didn't take her out in public all that much. If it was to a point they would eventually kill her, it's not crazy to think they never would allow her to attend child groups or preschools." Opelika is a decent sized place. As of the 2010 census, the population was about 26,401. Probably just about big enough that people don't pay particularly close attention to their neighbours. There's no way you'd know everyone and what everyone's up to in a place of that size, especially if somebody's actively trying to hide something. But then in 2016, investigators received a tip from Greater Peace Missionary Baptist Church in Opelika. A woman came forward with photos taken during a vacation Bible school at the church in 2011 of a young girl matching Jane Doe's description, including a visible deformity of some type in her left eye. She may have been blind in it. It's not clear from the photos if the deformity was natural or caused by an accident or abuse. The teacher recalled that the girl was quiet and kept to herself. She didn't interact with the other children all that much, and she did have trouble communicating. On the back of this, the authorities have speculated this could either be due to a lack of socialisation or through a traumatic brain injury possibly caused by abuse. The teacher said that she was unkempt and unclean. The Opelika police aren't 100% sure obviously that the girl in this photo is Opelika Jane Doe, but they all believe that she probably is. All attempts to identify her through school and church records have failed, so they released the photos to the public. But still there's been no identifications. Nobody at all seems to know who this girl is. Nobody recognises her. But there must be somebody out there who does. With adult Jane and John Does, it can be believable that people can go off the grid. Families could never think to report them as missing because maybe they're just independent people. But when it comes to a child who's possibly not much older than a toddler, there's no justifying them going missing and nobody noticing. At the very least, she had a parent or a caretaker who would have noticed that she suddenly disappeared. I also find it strange that the church wouldn't have paperwork on her. Surely they'd have paperwork of every single child who attended this vacation Bible school. Is it simply that they disposed of the paperwork after 5 years, or did they just never have any? Did a parent just drop her off there without signing her up to the school properly, or was there no paperwork really required? In May 2020, just 2 months ago, the police released enhanced images of the girl in the photo that depict her better than the originals, in the hopes that it will lead to an identification. But still, it doesn't seem like anyone has come forward. In 2017, it was announced they'd done isotope testing on Jane Doe's remains at the University of South Florida Institute of Forensic Anthropology and Applied Science, which revealed that the girl was from the southeastern portion of the United States. She was most likely from Alabama or the surrounding states. And that, combined with the girl likely attending a Bible school in Opelika, suggests that the girl wasn't just randomly dumped in Opelika as a random burial spot. Her and her family were likely from the area, living there. And also, this particular trailer park wouldn't be the kind of place that just anybody would know about. You wouldn't just stumble upon it. The individual or individuals who disposed of the body were familiar with the area and most likely native to Opelika. The Alabama Governor's Office, the Lee County District Attorney's Office and a private citizen are offering a $20,000 reward for any information leading to the identity of the girl and the conviction of her killer. This is still an active investigation and the police continue to follow all leads they can get to get justice for this little girl. Anyone who recognises her or who might have any leads is asked to contact the Opelika Police Department Detective Division. I'll leave the number in the description box just in case. To me, it seems that the police have truly done everything they can in this case and they're not about to give up anytime soon. There are so many questions about how and why Jane Doe died. Maybe she wasn't the victim of abuse, maybe she got hit by a car and the perpetrator disposed of her body. Or maybe she was the victim of abuse but so was her mother. Perhaps her mother is just as scared of the abuser as Jane Doe was, too scared to ever come forward, grieving the loss of her daughter on her own. Maybe Jane Doe was a victim of child trafficking or abduction. But generally with cases like this, it's easiest to go with Occam's razor, that the simplest explanation is the most likely. Jane Doe likely lived in an abusive household with abusive parents or an abusive caretaker who took advantage of her and eventually murdered her. The fact that all of the evidence, all of the clues seem to point to the fact that Jane Doe was likely brought up and lived in the area in which she was found shows that her parents probably went to great lengths to hide her from public view because nobody knows who this little girl is. If you are from the area and possibly have any clues that could help out the police, and as I said, I will leave the number in the description box down below. I know Jane Doe cases are generally quite short videos on this channel, but I think they're so important to talk about because these are cases that could easily get solved if just the right person sees the right thing. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.